Welcome to Conversations with Christine. Today I thought we'd spend a little time talking about screen time. And if you're a parent, you know that might be one of the biggest arguments in your house is your children and their screen time. And if you're an adult, that might be one of the biggest arguments with yourself is screen time and how to get the things done that you need to do while not spending crazy amounts of time on your screens. And there's beginning to be more and more research out there that shows how screen time affects mental health, its effect on ADHD symptoms. One of the biggest problems with screen time is issues with sleep. When that screen, whether it be an iPad or your phone or even a laptop, goes to bed with you, and all of a sudden you've binge watched, 3 or 4 shows, and that's probably not even binging. For some people, that might just be their normal, and it's not 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock like it was when you got in bed, but it's 1 o'clock or 1:30, 2 o'clock, and you still have to get up at the same time. So there's a big effect that screens have on our sleep. So in addition to that, not being able to shut down from them, the effect of the blue light and that on being able to switch the brain off and go to sleep. There's research out there. So, screens are everywhere though now, right? Especially with COVID this year, students did their learning on their screens. As an adult, you may be doing a lot of your work on your screens. How you kept in contact and connected with friends, family, colleagues, most likely through the past 15 months, 16 months, has been on your screens. Now, thankfully, with vaccines and lower numbers of COVID cases, we're getting back to being able to see people in person and go places in person, but it's still a lot of screen time. And then there's the non-helpful screen time, and how do we handle that? So what are some suggestions and ideas that you can use to limit your screen time? One of those ways is to make sure that you don't take your screen to bed with you. If it's your child and they need to plug it in, even if they need to hear the alarm, if you can somehow find a plug and an extension cord and let that phone charge in the hallway outside their bedroom, that reduces that temptation to, just one more video, just one more song, just one more post. It's out of the room. They physically don't have it in there with them. And adults, that works just as well for you too. Or maybe it's having a place in the kitchen that is the family charging space. So phones go and screens and other devices go there overnight. I find I charge my Apple Watch overnight because I don't like, and I know I could set do not disturb on it, which is another great tool, but I don't like necessarily doing that because I forget to turn it back on, all different reasons. So I use that to be nighttime, to be the time when it charges. Then I don't have it coming on. I don't have the light, coming on and shining and that sort of thing. So, even my watch is, I screen free from that during the night. If I wake up and want to know what time it is, I can just as easily look over and squint my eyes and look at the clock on my dresser. But some other good things to do to help if you find, and not just at night, but even during the day, that you are really spending a lot of time on your screen, on your device, and you would like to start limiting that or start limiting that for your kids, set some rules. And I mean even rules for yourself that, there's only certain time of the day that you go on social media or that you check email on your phone or those sort of things, that you're going to do that right after lunch. and then do it again maybe right after dinner. But otherwise, stay off and do other things. Read a book, go outside, although not today in Columbus, Ohio, because it's raining. But you could go out in the rain, but go do something. Have something else to do with your time and plan for that so that you don't kind of get sucked in. Another thing, I find this is a funny way to save screen time, but don't take your phone into the bathroom with you. Right? First of all, that's just sort of icky and gross. But, if the bathroom is your place to read the news or read the book, leave some magazines, books in there that you can do your reading from, and keep your phone out of there. Put your phone in black and white mode, right? It's not as interesting and as visually appealing if you have black and white to view versus all the different colors and that sort of thing. And so a lot of people find that helpful. Some other ideas are, if you own an Apple product, there's a screen time, what do I call it? A screen time app. And you can check your screen time. You can set it to keep you on, certain apps for only a certain length of time. So if you want to keep to Facebook, keep to TikTok, whatever it is that you're doing, and limit that to an hour a day, you can set it up so that those apps you can only be on for an hour a day. Now, this is where some willpower comes into play, because you can just as easily go through and, click off and say, give me a little more time, or ignore for the day. But you have to keep your bigger goals in mind. If you set it, be intentional about it and really want to take that break. Don't let it just go on forever and ever and ever. Parents, sometimes kind of drafting a technology agreement, a technology contract can be really helpful, because it spells out when the devices can be used and when they can't, spells out what, if you're going to use that as a positive reward, what do they have to do to have extra time on their screen or extra time on their devices? So writing up a contract, you can search up technology contract, device contract for kids online, and you get a template and do that. And what's really helpful about that is it spells it out. It makes it visual. Nobody can say, oh, well, I didn't know that's what you meant. Well, it's right there in the contract. That's exactly what I meant. So that's really helpful. It takes away the gray area and sometimes the ambiguity that goes between parents' instructions and kids hearing and understanding and applying of rules. So that's another great way to kind of manage screen time. If you or your child is a YouTube aficionado and likes to spend time on there, turn off the autoplay feature, right, where it just goes to the next video, so that you actually have to choose to do one more and do one more. I know in Netflix, I don't think you can turn this off, but be aware that they just start, right? The next one just starts in 9 seconds or 19 seconds or whatever it is. So if you're going to say, I will watch one show, then make sure that you stop before that next show gets started, because I feel like once it does, we're hooked. We're in and we're watching. But there's a lot of different ways, and I'm sure as parents and adults, you have some own ways that you manage your screen time. When I'm here in my office and I have some things I want to get done, and I know that my phone can be a big distractor, I will lock it in my file cabinet because I put it on Do Not Disturb or nighttime or whatever that's called, and I put it in my filing cabinet and lock it with the key. And so that way, if I am really tempted, I've got to get up, go over the file cabinet, find my key, unlock it. That's just not worth my time. So I will do that just to out of sight, out of mind. And that's really helpful for me. So sometimes we have to do those kind of things. I know you can actually even purchase a box like on Amazon that you can lock for a certain amount of time and can't get your phone back out. That's something to think about too. But I find that a file cabinet works good. I find if I'm home and I don't want to be on my phone, I take it and put it in another room, or I take it upstairs and put it in my bedroom. And so then when I'm downstairs, I'm not able to get on it easily because it's upstairs. Making a household rule that there's no phones at the dinner table. So don't even bring them and sit them next to you, because then what happens, right? We all know you get that bzzz, and you think, ooh, I wonder what that was. Did someone text me? Or was that a like on a post? Did someone comment on my post? Is that a new Snapchat coming in? What's going on? I want to know, right? So if it's not there, you're not as, you don't know those things are coming in, and it's easier to ignore them. So making family rules about that. If students are taking summer classes and they need those phones, because a lot of times nowadays it's, app driven, and students are looking things up. They're doing Google searches. They might be collaborating with a classmate and they're doing that on the phone. Talking through with them, and that's one thing that coaching can help with, is coming up with a plan for how to manage that for yourself. When you have to have your phone out, you need it, but how do you use it then as a tool for your learning and not as a toy for your entertainment? And how do you hold off on the entertaining side of a device? Because we all know that the entertainment's there. How do we stop ourselves from paying attention to the enjoyable, the exciting, the interesting, the entertainment, and manage ourselves to work on the homework? Maybe it's something you're adding things to your calendar as a parent, or you're typing an email to a coach, or whatever it is. How do you stay focused on the task at hand versus getting distracted? And, when I work with clients, those are the things we do. We look for that and we try to figure out, how can we do this? And I know I have things that work for me, but I know that those things might not work for one of my clients. So their job is to really brainstorm and think of ways that can happen for them. And then they have the help of an accountability partner, me as their coach. Maybe it's a spouse or a partner at home, or a child or a parent that can help them with that. So there's lots of ways to have accountability to help you meet those goals that you're making for limiting your screen time. So hopefully you have some ideas and some strategies of things that maybe you could try if you want to work on limiting your screen time. And if you are interested in more of those, definitely follow me. Follow my page, CK ADHD Coach, on Facebook or on Instagram. Send me an email if you have a question about any of this. But it's an important issue, and it's one that's not going to go away. Those devices are only going to become a greater and greater part of our lives. So it's not that we can't have them at all. It's how do we learn to manage them? So hopefully that's been helpful to you guys. I look forward to my next Facebook Live. Have a great day. If you're in Central Ohio, stay dry. And this has been Conversations with Christine.